is nematodes? Azrin?
Yes. Hello everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you everyone. So I'd like to thanks to Moisan as a chairperson and also Najmi as a timekeeper. So Azrin Ilani binti Azmi, matrix number 19381. So my topic today is about nematodes. It's all about nematodes. So what is nematode? Actually, nematode is also called as a worm, and it came from the phylums of Nematoda. There are almost most of the abundant animals on the earth, and it occurs as a parasites in plants and also animals, and as a free living form in a soil, freshwater, marine environment, and even in unusual place as vinegar. And also the number of species is about 20,000, but it is likely as a small and the free living form has been identified. And actually there's a great deal of research has been conducted on this parasitic form, but most of them are for medical, veterinary, and also for the economic important. So I know that you guys trying to imagine how the nematode looks like in it. So nematode are likely bilateral symmetrical. It is elongate and usually tapered at the both of the end, and there are multicellular insects with a smooth and unsegmented body. The sexes are very can be found in most of the species, but most of them are hermaphroditic. The species feed on plants. They're so tiny that you couldn't even see, that you need microscope to see on them. So we know that our class, there are two of them being insect maniac, which is Janyok and also Myo, but unlucky them, they cannot take this nematode as their specimen. And then it is the range size of this microscopic is about 7 meters, about 23 feet long, and the largest of this parasitic form found in whales. And then it is occur at almost part of organ in the body, but a common site can be found in alimentary, circulatory, and also the respiratory system. It also can be called as a lungworm, pinworm, threadworm, whipworm, and also eelworm. So I'd like to talk about how the nematode affects on the crops in agriculture. So actually nematodes can cause very much disease, so many diseases such as filariasis, ascariasis, and also trichinosis, and it can be parasitized in many crops, plant, and also domesticated animals. So this plant parasite is not same as rootworm actually, because it is filarial nematodes that infect the human body, but it can spread diseases and also can make chaos in the human immune system. And then we know that nematodes feed on the outer surface of the plant, while the burrows into the tissues, and some species can damage even the plant roots, stem, foliage, and also the flowers. But you know what? The damage occurs when the nematodes inject the saliva into the cell from its mouth, and then it sucks off all the cell contained at that plant. So plant that respond to the parasitic worm will cause swelling, disordered growth, and lastly is going to be die. Also, nematodes carry viruses, bacterial diseases, and it can inject them to the plant, and the feeding womb also can provide the easy entrance for the point for bacteria and fungi to infect the plant. Even then, it can affect the plant to be dead. And most of the other disease-causing organism in the plant parasitics, nematodes seldom to produce any characteristic cell symptoms, but most of the symptoms are non-specific and is also resembled by cause of other factors such as viruses, nutrient deficiency, or caused by air pollution. But then the nematodes feedings above ground may cause twisted and disordered leaves, stem, and also the flowers. So if the nematode feedings on the root, the plant may look yellow, wilted, and stunted because the plant is already infected. If you suspect any injury on the roots, carefully lift out the infected plants, wash it off the roots for easier inspection. But if the nematode causing damage, you may see the small galls, injured root tip, root rot, or any excessive root branching. But if they feed above or the below ground, most nematodes spread at least part of their life cycle in the soil. Well, they can't even move far from their own power, so they can swim freely in the water, and they move very quickly in moist soil. So it's good idea to keep your soil well drained, and also it can spread by anything that can carry particles of infested soil, including tools, our boots, by animals, and also the infected by other infected plants. So we already talked about the bad things about nematodes. What about we talk about the benefits? So there are a few parts of nematodes that have their own benefits, which it can enrich the soil by feeding on the decaying materials, insects, or other nematodes. But their roles in the garden are varied. For example, some of the soil dwellers that break down the organic matter, especially in compost piles. This type actually combat variety of pest species, including weevils, clearing borers, cutworms, soil webworms, bugs, and white grubs. And nematodes may kill and attack these insects by injecting deadly bacteria and entering the host by parasitizing and also feeding them. So based on the research, there are species of nematode that can help to control locusts and grasshopper on the farm. So I'd like to conclude within this topic that actually we always think honestly, I will always think that nematodes is only have the bad sides for agriculture, but actually they have the good side also. So the conclusion is, do not look over the bad side of nematodes that will affect your crops badly, but we need to make a research to know the good sides of nematodes too. And it's the same as us human being, don't ever look at the bad side of the person, but we need to look the good side of that person to appreciate the existence of them. And I'd like to thanks to you all for lending me your ears for within 7 and plus minutes, and have a great day everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Zee. Good the speech about the nematode. I tahu nematode tangkap kita buat ni aja, buat mancing je. Okay. Okay, Moisa, please.
Okay, thank you for your speech, such a nice speech from